India and Pakistan, two neighbors born from the same land, share a history that is as complex as it is tumultuous. The partition of 1947 not only divided the land, but also the hearts and minds of millions. The roots of this division trace back to British colonial rule, which lasted for nearly 200 years. The Indian independence movement, led by figures like Mahatma Gandhi, sought to free the subcontinent from British control. Yet despite their shared heritage, they are trapped in one of the longest and most bitter rivalries the world has ever seen. From military standoffs to political disputes, the tension has been palpable for decades. The seeds of discord were sown during the partition, a traumatic event that led to mass migrations and violence. The scars of that time still linger today. The partition was hastily executed, leading to chaos and bloodshed. Key figures like Jawaharlal Nehru and Muhammad Ali Jinnah played pivotal roles, while the Mountbatten Plan hastily drew borders, often splitting communities and families. And is there a way forward? Can these two nations find a path to peace and cooperation? Let's break it down and explore the possibilities for a hopeful future. Indo-Pak Animosity Origins, Conflicts and Hope. In 1947, after centuries of British colonial rule, India finally achieved independence. The long struggle for freedom, led by figures like Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, culminated in a moment of triumph and celebration. However, this newfound freedom was bittersweet, but freedom came with a heavy price: partition. The subcontinent was torn apart, leading to one of the largest mass migrations in human history. Millions of people were displaced, and communal violence erupted, leaving deep scars on both sides. The Indian subcontinent was divided into two nations: India, predominantly Hindu, and Pakistan, created as a homeland for Muslims. The borders were hastily drawn, leading to confusion and chaos. Families were split, and lives were uprooted overnight. The political negotiations leading to partition were intense and complex. Key figures like Lord Mountbatten, the last Viceroy of India, played a crucial role in the discussions. Leaders such as Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who advocated for a separate Muslim state, and Jawaharlal Nehru, who envisioned a united India, were central to the process. Pakistan celebrated its independence with fervor, as did India. Yet, the joy was overshadowed by the sorrow of partition. The legacy of 1947 continues to shape the subcontinent, influencing its politics, culture, and the lives of millions to this day. The division wasn't clean. It triggered one of the largest mass migrations in human history. 14 million people displaced, families were torn apart, with many saying goodbye forever. Children cried as they left their homes, and strangers became lifelines. Nearly 1 million perished in the violence that followed, leaving scars that would last generations. The wounds of partition weren't just physical, they were emotional, cultural, and deeply political. And sadly, they never truly healed. Since 1947, India and Pakistan have fought 4 major wars. The first war in 1947-48 was over Kashmir, leading to a divided region and ongoing territorial disputes. In 1965, the conflict reignited over Kashmir, resulting in significant military and civilian casualties on both sides. The 1971 war led to the creation of Bangladesh, drastically altering the geopolitical landscape and causing a humanitarian crisis. The Kargil conflict in 1999 saw intense fighting in the mountainous region, straining diplomatic relations and leading to international intervention. Kashmir, a region still caught in tension, remains a significant flashpoint. Efforts for peace continue, with dialogues and initiatives aimed at resolving the long-standing dispute between India and Pakistan. Beyond wars, there have been countless skirmishes, terrorist attacks, and accusations hurled across borders, deepening mistrust with every passing year. In 1998, both India and Pakistan conducted nuclear tests. The world watched nervously as two bitter enemies now had weapons capable of unimaginable destruction. Since then, despite provocations, full-scale wars have been avoided, largely because of the fear of mutual annihilation. But here's something the headlines don't always tell you. At the people-to-people level, there's admiration, shared culture, and even love. From students studying together to joint music concerts and cross-border sports events, the connections are real and heartfelt. Both nations share history, food, music, language, and most importantly, emotions. It's often politics, not people, that fuel the flames of hatred. Hope isn't lost. Peace talks have happened before, like the Lahore Summit of 1999, the Agra Summit of 2001, and the ceasefire agreement of 2003. Diplomatic efforts continue, with initiatives like the Kartarpur Corridor and Track 2 diplomacy fostering dialogue and understanding. Imagine a future where resources are spent not on military buildup but on education, healthcare, and prosperity. It's not impossible, but it requires courage, leadership, and patience on both sides. The story of Indo-Pak Animosity is a story of pain, but also potential. It reminds us that history can imprison us, or it can teach us. The choice is ours. Gap 3S. While the Indo-Pak conflict is deeply rooted in historical and regional issues, the role of international organizations and other countries cannot be overlooked. Entities like the United Nations have often stepped in to mediate, offering platforms for dialogue and resolutions. Despite their efforts, lasting peace remains elusive, often overshadowed by national interests and political agendas. Gap 2S. Over the decades, various countries have also played the role of intermediaries. The United States, China, and Russia have each, at different times, attempted to broker peace, driven by their own strategic interests in South Asia. However, these interventions have had mixed results, sometimes easing tensions temporarily but often failing to address the underlying causes. Gap 2S. The international community's involvement underscores a crucial point. The Indo-Pak conflict is not just a bilateral issue but one with global implications. The presence of nuclear weapons in both nations adds a layer of urgency to these mediation efforts, as the potential for a catastrophic conflict looms large. Gap 2S. While international mediation has yet to achieve a lasting solution, it remains a vital component of the peace process. It serves as a reminder that the world is watching, and that the stakes are too high for inaction. As global citizens, it is our collective responsibility to advocate for peace, understanding, and cooperation between these two nations. Gap 2S. The path to reconciliation is fraught with challenges, but with concerted international efforts, there remains a glimmer of hope for a peaceful resolution to this enduring conflict. Gap 3S. Beyond the human and political costs, the Indo-Pak conflict has had profound economic implications for both nations. The ongoing tensions have diverted substantial resources towards defense and military expenditures, funds that could otherwise have been utilized for development, education, and healthcare. Gap 2S. The economic toll is evident in the underdevelopment of border regions, where frequent skirmishes disrupt daily life and economic activities. Trade between the two countries, which could have been a significant source of mutual growth, remains limited due to political hostilities and security concerns. The potential for economic cooperation remains largely untapped. Gap 2S, conversely, the benefits of peace could be transformative. A peaceful resolution and improved relations could open avenues for trade, tourism, and investment, leading to economic growth and stability in the region. The resources currently allocated for defense could be redirected towards infrastructure, technology, and human capital, fostering a more prosperous and interconnected South Asia. Gap 2S. Regional cooperation could also enhance energy security, with collaborative projects in renewable energy and resource management. The combined market of over 1 billion people presents immense opportunities for businesses and entrepreneurs from both nations. Gap 2S. The economic dividends of peace extend beyond immediate financial gains. Enhanced economic ties could lead to greater cultural exchange and understanding, fostering a sense of shared destiny and mutual respect. It could also create a more stable and secure environment, attracting global investments and positioning the region as a hub of economic activity. Gap 2S. Ultimately, the path to peace is not just a moral imperative but an economic necessity. The potential for prosperity and growth through peaceful coexistence far outweighs the costs of continued conflict. As we look to the future, the promise of economic benefits could serve as a powerful incentive for both nations to seek lasting peace and cooperation. Gap 3S. Amidst the turmoil and conflict, there are voices that call for peace and reconciliation. Numerous peace activists and organizations on both sides of the border have been tirelessly working towards bridging the divide between India and Pakistan. These individuals and groups believe in the power of dialogue, cultural exchange, and mutual understanding to foster a lasting peace. Gap 2S. One such organization is the Aman Ki Asha initiative, a collaborative effort between media groups from both nations aiming to promote peace through cultural diplomacy and people-to-people contacts. By highlighting shared histories, arts, and traditions, they seek to build a narrative of commonality rather than division. Gap 2S. Additionally, grassroots movements like the South Asian Peace Network and the Indo-Pak Peace Forum bring together citizens from both countries to engage in conversations about peace, understanding, and cooperation. These platforms provide a space for ordinary people to share their stories, experiences, and aspirations for a harmonious future. Gap 2S. Prominent activists like Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi, both Nobel Peace Prize laureates, have also voiced the need for peace between the two nations. Their advocacy for education, children's rights, and nonviolence serves as a powerful reminder of the human cost of conflict and the urgent need for reconciliation. Gap 2S. These peace advocates face numerous challenges, from political resistance to societal skepticism. However, their unwavering commitment to fostering dialogue and understanding continues to inspire hope. They remind us that despite the historical animosities, there is a shared desire for peace among the people of both nations. Gap 2S. The work of these peace activists and organizations underscores the importance of looking beyond political rhetoric and focusing on the human connections that bind us. Their efforts highlight that peace is not just a distant dream, but a tangible goal that can be achieved through persistent and collective efforts. Gap 2S. As we consider the future of India-Pakistan relations, it is crucial to amplify these voices of peace and support their initiatives. By doing so, we can pave the way for a more peaceful and prosperous South Asia, where the aspirations of billions are realized through cooperation and mutual respect. Gap 3S. As we look towards the future, the path to lasting peace between India and Pakistan remains complex and fraught with challenges. But it is not an unattainable dream. Several key steps could pave the way for a more harmonious relationship between these two nations. Gap 2S. Firstly, sustained diplomatic engagement is crucial. High-level dialogues and peace talks should be prioritized, focusing on resolving contentious issues such as the Kashmir conflict through mutual understanding and compromise. Confidence-building measures such as trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and joint initiatives can help to rebuild trust and cooperation. Gap 2S. Secondly, addressing the socioeconomic needs of the populations on both sides of the border is essential. By investing in poverty alleviation, education, and healthcare, both nations can create a more stable and prosperous environment that is less susceptible to conflict. Economic interdependence can also act as a powerful deterrent against hostilities. Gap 2S. Thirdly, fostering people-to-people connections is vital. Encouraging tourism, student exchanges, and cross-border collaborations in arts and sports can break down stereotypes and build mutual understanding. Media initiatives that highlight positive stories and shared cultural heritage can also play a significant role in changing public perceptions. Gap 2S. Moreover, combating extremism and terrorism is a shared priority. Both nations must work together to dismantle terrorist networks and promote narratives of peace and coexistence. This requires not only military cooperation but also addressing the root causes of radicalization through education and community development. Gap 2S. Finally, the role of international mediators can facilitate the peace process. Organizations such as the United Nations and influential nations can offer neutral platforms for dialogue and provide incentives for both sides to engage constructively. Gap 2S. While the journey towards lasting peace is undoubtedly challenging, history has shown that even the most entrenched conflicts can be resolved through persistent and genuine efforts. By focusing on common interests, fostering mutual respect, and prioritizing the well-being of their citizens, India and Pakistan can move towards a future where peace and prosperity are not just aspirations, but realities. Gap 2S. The future of India-Pakistan relations is not just in the hands of politicians and diplomats, but in the hearts and minds of ordinary people. It is their desire for peace, their willingness to understand and empathize with each other, that will ultimately shape the destiny of these two nations. Let us hope that this collective will for peace will guide the way forward. What do you think? The relationship between India and Pakistan has always been a topic of intense discussion and debate. From historical conflicts to moments of cooperation, the dynamics between these two nations are complex and multifaceted. Will India and Pakistan ever be able to move past their differences? Can they find a path to lasting peace and mutual respect? The future of their relationship holds significant implications not just for the region, but for the world at large. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your perspectives and insights on this critical issue. Your voice matters in this ongoing conversation. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into history and geopolitics. Stay tuned for more content that delves into the intricate and often contentious relationships that shape our world.